What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Now, Backlash is just days away, so what surprises can we expect on Raw? Join us now as Wrestlelamia analyzes Raw and looks at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Randy Orton taking shots at NXT, how many superstars want to leave the WWE, new title belts coming soon, an NXT Call-Up Cancelled, another WWE superstar injured, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. As always, we won't waste your time recapping the matches, but we will take a look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly from tonight's show. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, Edge and Christian, you've still got it. It's been a while since the WWE Universe saw Edge and Christian together in the WWE ring, and while tonight's encounter wasn't a match, it looked like it was about to become one when Christian challenged whether his best friend still has what it takes to compete. Of course, Christian was trying to light a fire under Edge, and it appears he did, with both men giving passionate promos and Edge admitting he's not sure if he still has it. This was a great promo and a reminder of how good promos were on a regular basis back in the Attitude Era. Number 2, McIntyre's gift of gab. Drew McIntyre's talents in the ring are a well-known commodity, and it's quickly become apparent his charisma and mic skills are two components that could make him a main event star for a long time. Drew's backstage segment with the Viking Raiders was as good as was his interactions with MVP, where he asked MVP if he was going to share his vast experience winning various world championships to help Lashley's career. Well, it's kind of a sick burn, considering MVP doesn't have any world championships to his name, his highest accolade being the US Championship. It was a funny burn that was well executed and showcased McIntyre's gift of gab. Number 3, an iconic beatdown. As Wrestlelamia has observed before, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay are a team that function well together and are good for some laughs. But at the same time, they can also work as two tough women who can dish out a beating, as seen when they laid out the women's tag team champions. Number 4, Seth Rollins is back. Seth Rollins just didn't seem to be clicking as a heel, even when he gathered Buddy Murphy and the AOP to help him make life difficult for the babyfaces on Raw. Incredibly, Rollins' feud with Kevin Owens wasn't that good, despite both superstars' talents in the ring and on the microphone. However, Rollins has soared to new heights after sacrificing Rey Mysterio, not only taking his Monday Night Messiah gimmick to a higher level, but adding Austin Theory to his cult. We just have to say sorry that we ever doubted his heel run. Number 5, a surprise match. Tonight's Raw featured a number of surprises, including the unexpected triple threat match between the teams of Asuka and Charlotte, Bayley and Sasha Banks, and the Iconics. The match was a good build for Sunday's triple threat tag team match over the Women's Tag Team Championship, as well as Flair vs Asuka for later on Raw, even though that had already been announced. Even better, it was one hellacious battle. Number 6, a mighty main event. Although the WWE threw a curveball at fans with the Asuka vs Flair turning into an impromptu triple threat bout, it didn't deprive the fans of the scheduled match, with the Empress of Tomorrow battling the Queen later on in the main event. The match was another reminder of how good these two are, echoing past classics like Steamboat vs Flair that fans never tire of seeing, no matter how many times they've fought before. And number 7, some funny moments. The Viking Raiders vs Street Profits competition has been groan-inducing rather than grin-inducing, but tonight's decathlon contest was good for a few laughs, whether it was the dance-off or the hurdle race. While we're more interested in seeing these two teams in the ring, this segment was better than most of the previous ones. But that was the good. What about the bad? Is number 1, know when to walk away. While tonight's Street Profits vs Viking Raiders segment was funny, it overstayed its welcome as it dragged on for far too long. The WWE has difficulty doing comedy, especially when it comes to knowing when to end a segment rather than dragging it out. And number 2, high hopes equal large letdown. The WWE's continued hype for the Edge vs Orton as the greatest match ever continues to irritate fans. Calling it the greatest match ever is just ridiculous. It's never going to live up to the hype, but yet the WWE keeps shoving it down our throats. Now, there was no downright ugly of tonight's show, as tonight's Raw was strong from start to finish with a number of excellent matches and segments designed to build up interest for Sunday's Backlash pay-per-view. It's hard to think of a go-home show this good in a long time, and the WWE should use the 8th June Raw as a blueprint for building up future pay-per-views. But that was the good, the bad and the downright ugly of Raw. Let's now move on to the news, as our first story looks at the return of New Japan Pro Wrestling. There's big news to report as New Japan Pro Wrestling has announced it will air its first live event beginning on 15th June. New Japan's official Twitter account shared the following: New Japan Pro Wrestling is back. We return to action on Monday, June 15th with a mystery card for Together Project special live on New Japan Pro World. Details in the link. It's great to know that New Japan Pro Wrestling is going to be back, and they're going to be kicking things off with a New Japan Cup tournament. Next up, Randy Orton takes shots at NXT. Now there seems to be a social media smackdown going on between Randy Orton and NXT's Tomasso Ciampa. Things got started when Orton tweeted, "Hey, WWE NXT Takeover in your house was great, slapping my leg for you guys. Sincerely, #legslap." Orton is one of several veteran wrestlers who don't like how some NXT stars and younger stars in the promotion slap their legs when performing moves. Ciampa responded, "My daughter has been having trouble sleeping. Luckily I found a remedy. Randy Orton matches. Better than NyQuil. Sincerely, an entire locker room who busted their asses." Oh, but Orton wasn't finished however and fired back, "Looks like I hurt the feelings of the self-appointed locker room leader of a wrestling school. #legslap class starts so I can take my game to the next level." Apparently even Orton's wife is throwing off some digital dynamite too, saying Randy Orton isn't the same guy who took credit for all those great matches that he didn't put together. A rumor has it that the WWE superstars are not supposed to engage in social media meltdowns with one another unless it's part of a storyline. Could we see Ciampa jump to Raw for a feud, or a Viper making a trip to NXT? Whatever the case, this could be an incredible feud between the two. Next up, how many superstars want to leave the WWE? Curious how many WWE superstars are looking to leave the company? Recently, the usually reliable folks over at WrestleVotes talked to a source in WWE and polled them about what percentage of superstars want out. Reportedly, the answer was less than 20%. That's still about 1 out of 5, which tells you more than a few superstars are dissatisfied with the promotion. Next up, new title belts coming to the WWE. Looks like the WWE is planning on redesigning more of its title belts. Always a good way to generate merchandise revenue from fans who like collecting wrestling belts. According to Wrestling Inc. has learned that WWE is reportedly working on a new belt design for some of their titles. Belt fan Dan of BeltTalk.com tweeted in May that WWE was working on new versions of their belts and that they're already in production. According to the article, the WWE wants a new design for the US Championship and the NXT Championship. According to the article, the NXT Championship has the same design, but is bigger in size. We definitely agree that the US Championship needs a full redesign. Belt hasn't changed since 2003. Next up, an NXT Call-Up Cancelled? As Wrestlelamia has discussed in recent videos, a number of NXT stars are believed to be on their way up to the main roster, including Dominik Dijakovic and Chelsea Green. Another big star from the Black and Gold brand was mentioned, but according to WrestleTalk's Louis Dango, there have been reports that Velveteen Dream is heading up the main roster, and our sources have confirmed that while he was discussed as someone to potentially bring up, higher-ups in both WWE and down in NXT have made the call to keep the former North American champion with the Black and Gold brand for the time being. There's no word on why a Dream call-up was rejected at this time. Do you think he's better off in NXT? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, another WWE superstar injured. Now it looks as if the injury bug is busy in the WWE, with SmackDown superstar Elias joining Raw superstar Jinder Mahal on the injured reserve list. Dave Meltzer is reporting that Elias' storyline injury on the Blue brand was meant to write him off television as he deals with a torn pectoral muscle. Next up, a new direction for Tamina. It looks like Tamina is hinting at a new direction for her character, posting what appears to be a video of her at a psychiatric hospital accompanied by the following message: "After my devastating loss at Money in the Bank and 10 years of being used and abused, it has finally happened. The trepidation." Sometimes a new direction can revive a wrestler's career, however as fans know with the WWE, there's no guarantees. Next up, some NXT matches have been announced. As Wrestlelamia noted in our recap and analysis of NXt Takeover in your house, the Black and Gold brand put on an outstanding show which still has fans talking. Now the WWE looks to build on this momentum with Wednesday's 10th June show, and so far they've announced the following 2 matches: Finn Balor vs Cameron Grimes, and NXT champion Adam Cole vs Dexter Lumis in a non-title match. NXT has a chance to use its goodwill from the NXT Takeover show and beat Dynamite in the ratings. But do you think these matches are strong enough to do the job? And finally, a WWE star leaves Twitter. Last but not least, Count Corey Graves as the latest wrestler or wrestling personality to say adios to Twitter. WrestleTalk is reporting Graves has deactivated his account, but it remains to be seen why or whether it's a temporary measure. But there you have it guys, the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.